taken over this channel, and you and I will come to find that there are other dark things in the night, in the dark.
They Lurk in the Night by StoryMan-Jack. He ran, breathing heavy, limbs and branches flashing by and wings in the night air. Sweat ran down his face, brambles scratching, bugs biting. He ran. Something like howls sounded from above and behind, though not exactly, more like a memory in the wind. He ran, legs tangled upon themselves in his exhausted terror. "Fuck!" he rasped as he fell and rolled, tumbling, his lungs burning, as well as the scrapes on his elbows and knees. He ran. Flashes of shadows struck his eyes as he ran. Through the branches from the moonlight, something flew, something not. He ran. He felt wetness on his lips and ran a hand over it. At first thinking it was drool, but it was not. The coppery taste in his mouth and nostrils told him of blood as another howl sounded, misty ground before him on the trail. He ran. Thwack! Something struck him in the back, the fire burning him into the soil of the little game trail, a line across his back, burning in such a way that he ignored his broken and bloody nose, though his dizziness should have hinted as such. And yet Brian's terror was so great that he stumbled to his torn and bloody feet, flip-flops having been lost too long ago to remember, into a shambling lope, ignoring his battered and bruised body. Not a howl, but a shriek sounded in the night above, and this thing was loud. He ran through the forest around the lake in the middle of nowhere. His friends were gone, taken by the things hunting him now, women, or so the boys had thought, sunbathing on the shore, nude. As the sun set, however, the boys found out differently, Brian could think of no other words than demonic, were not women at all. Leathery wings and tail and the horns, he didn't have time to count, but there were more than two. Fangs and eyes that glowed in the twilight a golden yellow. His friends Tony and Mark were torn apart before his eyes, ripped like some piece of meat. And though his mind had been locked in terror, his feet moved of their own accord. He ran. He could not count on help from random people. The area of this lake was supposed to be closed at night, but his father, a deputy sheriff in charge of locking up, had left his key laying around. Brian had stolen that key, the only key to the only gate in or out of the little county reserve. Almost stumbling again, he heard another shriek, this time closer and from behind. His fear was such that he never looked back and never before ran so fast. "Run, little rabbit." He heard the same sultry voice he thought was going to screw him right in his ear. He felt another lashing pain, this time across his shoulders, and felt the trickle of blood run down his lashed back. Brian stumbled then, his foot hitting a rock and breaking so badly the bone shot out from the top of his bare foot. He fell, rolling to a heap. Rolling over onto his belly, what little light in his world fading, Brian began to crawl, to claw at the earth as if he could only get a few more inches. He would be safe. He would live. Unfortunately, the fading light turned into a dark tunnel, and then, finally, Brian's world was darkness. A pale green fire glowed before him as he woke slowly. The deep darkness of oblivion fading, his world resolving into terror. Upon the green fire was a pyre, and behind it a great black bird in effigy. 6 of the winged, demon-like creature danced nude around the circle of firelight. The dance was hypnotic, and he took a long time studying it, and the way the obviously female things moved and twisted, strangely beautiful in their form and their flow and their, nude bodies. Brian was surprised when he realized he was tied to a railroad post hammered into the ground with a harsh hemp rope, his clothes stripped from him. His body half numb, almost as if he were baked. Was there poison or some kind of drug in those sharp claws? The bodies, they moved, they twisted. He had to stop thinking about them. Something was wrong. Nothing is wrong, my pet, a sultry female voice whispered in his ear, the sound so seductive in his haze that it made his knees buckle so that only the rope held him aloft. The twisting, moving, naked bodies filled him with hunger, with need. No, he murmured, fighting the feeling, the animal trying to take him over, the need, the wanton lust. Why fight it, dear boy? The voice whispered again, a shadow moving closer around him, almost into his line of vision. Because you're evil, he fought. I have to. You aren't real. You aren't human. He had his eyes clamped shut at the end as she began to move closer into the light. Oh no, my sweet child, she purred, and then he felt something lick his chest, and it sent shudders down his spine, and he almost passed out with bliss as it caused his body. It's the drug, a poison. It's not real, he told himself, fighting to keep himself sane. He could feel his lower part ache in pain. Even if that were so, does that not make the feeling any less delicious? Brian's eyes snapped open as teeth bit down hard on his nipple. No. He tried to shake his head, though he could not, then strained to turn away. You killed my friends. Ah, but not you, she purred in his other ear, her firm, warm breast touching his arm as she moved around him. Oh, no, not you. Why? He asked. Why did he ask that? No, we had to fight these things. His eyes caught the dance again. No. His voice faded into a mumble as he lost himself in the dance, in the nude and seductive movement. Because we awaken, and we must feed, she whispered behind him again. You did that already. Why did you not eat me back there with my friends? He almost screamed, his terror, his lust reaching a balance, giving him a moment of lucidity. She laughed softly. Yes, God damn it, seductively. Your friends fed our bodies. You, my sweet rabbit, you shall feed our lust. And once that is sated, you shall feed our power with your pain. Even as she finished, she felt white, hot fire run down his lower back and into the crack of it. He screamed and screamed until finally his voice gave out, and all he could do was howl, tearing and ripping hoarse whispers through his mouth. A finger touched his lips. He didn't know how long he was lost in the pain, but it was such that he couldn't understand anything but that pain, and it could have been more than mere moments or 1,000 years, and he lived in it, and it would have been the same to him. Not so fast, my little pet. You may seek the blackness yet. You are ours for the time being. He saw her then, bedecked in her dark glory, wings outstretched like those of a bat, her head and horns otherworldly, and as black as her tar-like wings. Her body, that of a voluptuous dancer, moved and writhed before him, and he could literally feel the heat and lust coming off of her, his pain long forgotten, his mind having been caught. The dance, and Brian was no more.
And so the creatures that lurk in the shadows wake, and they hunger in the night, in the dark. Until next time. Nox Vinny, fear the night.